How's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have Lift the Curse with us tonight. They can say their names and what they do in the band.
Go for it, Ray.
I'm Ryan Hegefeld. I'm the singer, vocalist, and I also play guitar in the band. On the recording side of things, I also play drums and do a lot of synthy type stuff to put everything together.
Love it. Brandon, thanks for having us, man. My name is John Yaden Jr. Play guitar on recordings, do bass, and then some backup vocals for Lift the Curse.
Ooh. Wow, you guys are doing like, are you guys going to the gym? Because man, you guys are doing some heavy lifting. But that's
just a little cardio.
Just a little. That's awesome. Well, guys, thank you for coming on. I want to again give a shout out. I feel like James at this point is just like he's the GOAT man to me. He's always sending me bands, so I love having his bands on. One time I'll have James on. I swear to God. If I have to call him out in a video right now, I'll do it. James, come on the channel, buddy. We gotta talk. It'd be great. But I'm here for Lift the Curse. I had told the guys I listened to, a smattering of a few of their songs, so I kind of have a pretty good idea about the band itself. But wanted to know, and I'm sure you get asked this a lot, is how did Lift the Curse start out? I'm a huge band nerd for most people who are familiar with the channel. So I love kind of hearing about like the origin story of the band. So how did you guys meet? Had you been in prior bands like in the Texas scene before this? Like give me the how you guys met. That's the important thing.
John Boy, you go for it.
All right, I'll kick it off. You pepper in whatever you want. Yeah, we go back a ways. So I'm originally from Northern California. Moved to Austin, Texas 11 years ago. And a couple of years later, met a mutual friend of Ryan and I's. And via Craigslist, shout out Craigslist, like actual Craigslist, not Facebook, whatever.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys made it out okay. That was my concern. You said Craigslist, I'm like,
yeah, we're still good. We're here to
knock on wood, right?
Yeah, so we played in honestly a couple different bands. One was an original rock project where Ryan played drums, I played guitar, and then there was 3 other members. Did that for a bit, then did a cover band. Then Ryan and I actually kind of left those, and we actually did a country project for a little bit. We both
that makes sense. Yeah.
We both love country also, so we actually still have a little side project called Black Star Sunset. Then after that, we actually linked up with the guy that I met on Craigslist. His name's Deuce, and we started a band called Trine ATX. And there's just 3 of us, and we did that for about 7 years and change, maybe. Mm-hmm. And then, it was actually, we're about to have our year anniversary of Lift the Curse. We released our first song April 29th last year. So, anyways, Trine ATX, we had a really good run, but it was just kind of time to move in different directions. Sure. So Ryan and I decided to start Lift the Curse. And ironically, Lift the Curse was actually a song name of one of our Trine ATX songs. We're like, man, that'd be kind of a cool band name. So, fast forward, we're here. But yeah, Ryan, over the time, we've been in bands and stuff, have become, best friends and pretty much brothers at this point. So
would you say the sentiment is the same, Ryan? You don't feel obliged that John's here, like if the veils.
We're probably each other's life coaches, we share, like he turned me on to this thing called chicken sausage. Never knew it existed, and sausage because of him. So we trade recipes.
This is impressive. This goes very deep,
Way beyond the music, Brandon.
I can tell the love's in the air, I can feel the bromance is super strong with the band, that's shout out to my man, Chris. Him and I are like super close. So I feel like that hey. I get that type of energy,
Chris.
So shout out to Chris, my guy. But it's cool. Was there anything else you wanted to add about the story, Ryan, or do you think John kind of nailed it?
No, I think he nailed it. We've been in bands since we were, high school. I think mine was, like 8th grade. So wow. junior high even. And man, with like just all the people you come in contact with and all of that. And it's funny, you kind of end up going, okay, like what direction do I want to go? Very, very lucky to have found John as a musical companion because, it's been a journey, but I'm glad we're shelling out music now together.
Yeah, it does seem like it seems like the energy's there, and like watching the music videos and kind of like listening to your sound, it's like if you guys hadn't been together for like a long time, I would be very surprised because like the chemistry within like the songwriting is really well antiquated throughout the songs that I listen to. So I listened to Tidal Wave, Closing the Wound, The Debt, Believe, and then they also did a cover of I Just Died in Your Arms by Cutting Crew. And so I feel like I kind of got a good range of what you guys are capable of, what you guys do. I want to just give a special shout outs to Believe because shout outs to Dustin. I had interviewed his old band, Everyone Dies in Utah, and
Wow.
I've met
Oh man,
Dustin like
Dustin
once or
now.
twice. Yeah, shout outs to Dustin,
We
my
love
guy.
Dustin.
I love Dustin. Big salutes. But yeah, I saw like him post about it. That's why your name band name sounded so familiar. I was like,
Oh,
this
cool.
seems a little strange. Like this name seems, you know how like you get those moments where you're like, man, I know this. I know this from somewhere. Something's ringing
Seen
a
this.
bell. I've seen something, and then I saw Dustin post about it, like probably easily a couple months ago, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm working with this band called Live the Curse," and I was like, "What the hell, man? Like it's so wild." And then James emailed me, and it was like, "Oh, okay, now it's all coming full circle." So shout out to Dustin. He
Love
does
that.
love that dude. That was one of the craziest interviews that I don't think I've that ever happened. So big salutes to him. It's been actually more than a couple of years, but I saw his name on there and I had to give him a shout. But um
Love
out
that.
of out of all the songs, I think probably my personal favorite was I really love Closing the Wound. I felt like that just had like the
Ooh, nice.
coolest like melodic touch to it, but also at the same time had like nice bit of aggressiveness, nice big like choruses, things that you can sing along to. I love that sort of stuff. That's I feel like that is like both equally the driving force of why I love metal so much is like you get those moments where you can just like be angry or like just lift a little bit harder at the gym, and then like there's moments where you'll be singing in the shower to like Ryan. So like I think that you get the dichotomy of both, and that's what I love. So it's really good. In your guys' opinion, for people who maybe haven't checked out Lift the Curse, do you have a song that you would recommend to a new listener check out first to kind of give them a flavor of your sound and what you guys do?
That I mean, Closing the Wound's a good one because, like you
Oh,
said, it
okay.
touches all the
Yeah, yeah.
okay? Because I mean, we are writing an album right now, and it's the diversity is like I don't know. We do so many different types of songs, but I do feel like Closing the Moon kind of touches all the bases. Like you said, it's got the melodic stuff. It's got John soaring guitars in it. Yeah. It's got the hard edge and everything. So yeah, I would say probably Closing the Wound would give everybody kind of a good taste test of what Lit the Curse is and does.
John, what about you?
Yeah. I mean, first off, I told you this before we started recording, but thank you for listening.
Oh,
Like you didn't
no
have to,
problem.
but we super appreciate it.
Of course. I gotta do my due
Yeah,
diligence.
yeah. And the kind words. And honestly, yeah, Closing the Wind touches everything. I would say, I don't know, it's a little bit it's one newer than that song, but Tidal Wave kind of just
Yes.
it's a lot of energy in it, but also touches on a lot of the bases, but they're all our babies. I could choose any of them. But we'll go
I
with Closing the
feel
Wind or Tidal Wave.
I feel that, I was like
Yeah.
the one thing that I also really loved about it, and I'm gonna shill for John for like just a half second, but like I don't know if you can see in the corner here, but I have like obviously you can see one guitar. It's very, very blurry, but it's over here. And I have like a bunch of other
What is
guitars.
it?
It's well, so that in the corner is a Mexican Fender Strat that I got
Hey,
from
nice.
an old coworker of mine. Shouts to Nick. But
Shout out Nick.
he sold it to me for like an insane price. So I was like, I have the money, I'm doing it. But as a guitar player myself, and I've been playing for a long time, I was just like, just you thoroughly impressed me with your like lead guitar work because I sit back and I'm just like, fuck, man, I can't write stuff like that. Like it just makes me pissed off because I'm like,
Me too.
I, I'm glad I get you. Ryan and I are on the same wavelength. Like I sit there and I was like listening to some of the songs and I was just like, holy shit, like this guy can really just go at it. And then
Oh man.
in like some of the guitar playthrough stuff, I'm just like, I literally almost got to the point where I got up out of my chair and just walked away because I was just so pissed off
Oh
that
man.
I couldn't shred. Like that's one thing that I know I'm not good at is shredding and like to get better at doing it. But God, like I was very, I was super impressed because I'm just like, man, this guy knows his shit. So I had to give you the
Well,
kudos.
thank you very, very much. Oh man, I super appreciate that, man. Although Tidal Wave, Ryan played the solo. Ryan can just tap on in the
Yes,
middle of
that
Tidal
was
Wave. So
also sick. So shout out to Ryan. That crushed it. Crushed it.
yeah, don't sleep on Ryan's lead playing.
Yeah. But I feel like
Thank you.
I feel like I feel Ryan's pain now because Ryan emoted the same way that I did, where he's just like, man, I don't know, like he's just so good, you know. So I feel that. I don't know. I'm gonna have a bunch of sleepless nights now, just being like, okay, so it's like this. I'm just gonna figure it out. I have
And
to
you
watch in like half speed, you know.
Hey, Guitar Pro, man, it's perfect for that.
What'd you say, Ryan?
I said he makes it look so effortless too, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, it's
He's
almost
fine
it.
time and
It's just a
All fake.
smugness. I feel like it's kind of smug, you know? Like he's just like doing it and he's just like, yeah, I got it. I can do this. He's like, he doesn't even have to look at you. He's just like,
yeah.
you know, he's just like this, you know? He's just like doing his thing, like, and it's like, it's like me talking right now and doing this like fake guitar thing with my hands, like, you know, it just seems so fluid. So kudos for making it just seem so easy, even though I know as a guitar player myself, I know it's extremely difficult. So, got to give you the props. Got to give props where it's props
Thank you.
due, you know.
Thank you. Sorry for pissing you off, but thanks for,
I think I'll get over it. I'll survive.
wasn't my
Yeah.
intention.
There's plenty of other guitar players that, you know, are in amongst those ranks that I'm just like, you know what? I'm fine. I'll just, you know, I'll stay in my lane. I know what I do, and I do it, you know, somewhat well, and that I'll keep at that. But every once in a while, you know, you get that little moment where, you know, you break the seal a little bit, and you're like, oh, fuck, man, come on, man, like can't do it. So love it. If you are a shredder, definitely check out Lift the Curse. This is 10 out of 10. Got the shred. I can say that for a fact. But the next question I have for you guys is, you know, in terms of influences, I love kind of figuring this out, see who you guys are influenced by. But who were the first artists that you maybe either saw on TV or like watched at a concert or something like that, that really you saw them and you're like, that'd be really cool to do. I'd love to do that. Like, was there any artists in mind that specifically got you into making music?
You go first, Ray. This is gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because usually it's like influences, like who do you like? But who
Sure.
was like the artist that I saw? Man, you know, I was really, really young, but it did leave kind of an impact on me. The first concert I ever went to, and I was about 5 years old when this happened, but
Hey.
I do remember this. It was Garth Brooks.
Oh
Yeah.
man, at 5?
I just got chills. No, Brooks, and he actually. So the dance is one of my favorite songs of all time,
Okay.
and I just remember how much energy. I mean, 5 years old, but I still remember him just running around like crazy and having all the energy, and everybody's roaring, and yeah, that left kind of an impact on me. Plus, my dad and my brother, they played in a band when I was really, really
Oh,
young,
cool.
around growing up. So there was drum sets and guitars, and they were on stages, and I'd be in the crowd watching them. So it was kind of like, yeah, this is gonna happen eventually. So
It
yeah,
wasn't a matter of when, it was if, or if when. Sorry, I am
Yeah.
dyslexic, but yes, that's I
sure.
got. I came to it.
We got there.
Garth Brooks for sure.
I love that. John, what about you?
Nice. Yeah, for me, I don't come from a musical family at all. Actually, nobody plays anything except my sister's always like competitively danced forever. So her and I had the kind of sort of musical bug. But for me, I grew up playing baseball all year round until about age 13, when one New Year's, my best friends and I were like, let's start a band. And none of us had ever played anything ever. So two of us got guitars, one got a drum set. And I mean, thanks to one of my friends' moms, we made just terrible noise for a long time in that garage.
As you do, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, it was so fun though. But no, my parents always, listened to. They raised me on classic rock, 80s hair metal, all that stuff. So I'm a huge Van Halen junkie. All anybody in the 80s really. But for me, the biggest like musical moment, Metallica was my gateway into everything else.
Oh,
Like I'm sure we'll
classic,
get
yeah.
into it, but I'm really big into like all Swedish like metal, like Arch Enemy bands like that. But I'll say the biggest moments for me were watching two different DVDs. It was Metallica's S&M, like original S&M
Oh,
Symphony
yeah.
DVD. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just watching that over and over again, like I just fell in love with Kirk Hammett's playing, and then Ozzy's live at Budokan. Zach Wild's one of my favorite guitar players on the planet.
Oh, okay, yeah, I
So
can hear that,
I'll say
yeah, I
those
got
two, like those moments, and then getting to see both of them live. Like my dad used to take my friends and I to Ozfest. I think '04 was the
oh,
first one we went to.
nice. Okay.
And dude, we got so lucky. Some of the headliners at the same show, it was like Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, and then we got to see Zach play twice sometimes because he'd be with Black Label Society and then play with
Yeah,
Ozzy.
yeah, yeah.
So just that time period. So very early in my music playing, because I started about when I was 13. It's been about 20 years or so, but yeah, those moments, just seeing those players and then getting to see them live was just like. I did get to see Van Halen
Oh,
early on too,
whew.
which was pretty sweet. So all of those, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like I love this because I do feel like you guys have this sort of like classic like rock classic metal like overtone to your music, but then at the same time I think you like bring it more into the like modern style of music. The three bands that kind of, at least for me mentally, that I feel like you guys kind of resonated wise music wise with me, where I put 3 days grace, for
Nice.
like more so like vocally, and I think maybe for like more of the like rhythmic guitar structure. I
Mhm.
think for more of the shredding factor, Avenged Sevenfold, like a Sinister Gates kind of shred, love that. I'm talking like
Love
old
it.
Avenged, not, I wouldn't say more
I
modern
like it all.
Avenged. I'm an old school, like I love the first couple albums of Avenged. And then the last band I feel like you guys kind of, at least for me, struck was Woven War, which was that combination of Shane
Ooh,
from
nice.
Oh Sleeper, and then obviously the members of As I Lay Dying as well too. So I feel like those three bands, those are the ones that kind of like recirculated as I was kind of listening through to all the songs. I was like, those are the three bands that I think you guys kind of resonate with. The only maybe other one that I could think of is like maybe like a Breaking Benjamin, like
E-
esque kind of feel. I think you kind of had that kind of overtone. So I don't know how close I was, but I want to say I'm arguably pretty close.
That's pretty damn good, Brandon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Good.
we love all of those bands, and honestly, thank you for doing that because I not hate, but it's always so hard to like when people ask us to describe ourselves because I think it's really the ear of the beholder. Like if you
Sure,
don't
sure,
listen to
sure.
metal, you're not going to think we're metal. Or if you don't listen to metal, you might think we're metal. But if you do listen to metal, you might be like, no, dude, these guys are hard rock. you
I
know.
think you guys kind of
So I think
tether
it
the
go either
line.
way.
I think you toe the line
Yeah.
because I think you have some moments, especially more so like in the choruses. I feel like those are like very like big, like bombastic, kind of like hard rock feel where like you're trying to go for that large sound. And then some of like the more like rhythmic guitar structure, even with like the shredding, is obviously more in that sort of metal category. So I think you guys towed the line between both very well, but I don't feel like you're pulling in one specific direction. I think you kind of take different elements from both and just like obviously fuse them together in a unique way that doesn't feel like, because I think it could easily come off as like really cheesy, but I do feel like you guys don't. I feel like you guys like really thought about it and tried to like put the songs together in a unique way that doesn't seem like, okay, like they're really trying to pandering to like the hard rock crowd, or they're like, oh man, they're really trying to pander to like the metalheads by having shred. I think it just kind of flows super well in this like real like osmosis state, if that's the best way I could describe it, honestly.
Ryan, you want to comment? I was gonna say you nailed it, Brandon. You
Oh,
know
okay.
us. You know our story. Yeah, you
Yeah,
got it
you
all figured out.
have, babe. Yeah, thank you for all the compliments, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Oh, no problem. I feel like, and I also feel like with like artists too that I have on, it's like very easily I could just like, if I wasn't feeling it, I just could just like take a shit on you, and I obviously don't want to because that's not my lane at all. Like there's people out there that do that sort of stuff, but I always try to take like the positives out of like the things that I enjoy, but like really kind of like obviously it's hard enough as a band to like promote what you do and try to like get out there and have a following and stuff. So like why do I need to like talk shit online about your music? Like I'd rather have like people kind of go and see for themselves if they like it or not. Like obviously I have a whole host of different genres, bands, all that sort of stuff. And you know, this might be one that you might not like, but maybe the next one you watch you're gonna enjoy it. I mean, still go check out Live the Curse. I'm telling you, you should go check them out. You know, the links are in the description. But like, make the assumption for yourself. Like, don't let me just like tell you I like it. I liked it, so like clearly I'm gonna say I like it. But you know, I'm also not gonna like tell people that it sucks. Like, I'd rather have people be like, yeah, I didn't really like that, and then be honest with themselves and know they didn't like it. I enjoyed it, so I'll keep listening to you guys, you know? So, if you see the Spotify numbers, like, spike, then that's probably me, you know? That's it, just saying. I don't know if I have that type of
I'll be
influence, but
watching. I'll be watching.
patiently, John's gonna be, like, at the
There's
computer desk, he's
Brandon.
like,
He's there.
"Oh, there he is, he's right there. Oh, great. Oh,
Oh, I
man.
love it. No, Brandon, thank you for. I mean, the genre thing. It's really interesting to me just to hear what people think, but we like it all. So any of that and all of that is a compliment. So thank you very much. And yeah, man, you started to touch on songwriting, like that at the core of everything. We love the whole process because we pretty much do everything ourselves.
Sure.
We love songwriting is our number one. If we had to pick one thing, songwriting is we just love it. And it's just with the two of us, it's so easy for lack of a better word,
Sure.
just because we
Yeah.
have our process down. And it's so fulfilling. And Ryan hit it. I know it's a passionate one for you, obviously, but we love it, every part of it.
Yeah, for sure. No, yes, like John said, songwriting, I mean, it's obviously at the core of all music, right? But
Mhm.
we really put an emphasis behind those structures of songs and how we want songs to kind of flow. And I think it's kind of an unsaid thing between me and John, but we're almost always on the same wavelength when it comes to how we want the song to make somebody feel.
Sure.
And I
Yeah.
think that's part in songwriting, right? Because you think back to like all your favorite songs from whether it be your youth or last week, and it's not your favorite song because it just had, it might have a really awesome breakdown that just made you grit your teeth, but it made you feel a certain way. So we try to keep that in mind, and that's why songwriting means a lot to us because we're getting to not only make ourselves feel that way, but by putting it out there to the world, it's like potentially we're gonna, give people goosebumps or make people, like you said, lift harder at the gym or, whatever they might be doing, cutting carrots in the kitchen or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I was doing that earlier with some Lift the Curse, you know, just, you know, cutting them carrots extra, you know, the extra thin, you know, it was great, you know. It was just all
Best
the
damn carrots I
shredding.
ever
All
had.
the shredding just made the knife just work just so clean, you know. That's not the I didn't that I mean it could happen, but I don't know. The results may vary.
Oh.
But yeah, no, I love the fact that you guys kind of toe the line. I don't think that like you know, I love when bands kind of show off their sort of set of influences and the way that they go about it. And I appreciate that you guys have really that attention to detail when it comes to songwriting because I think with all the songs, like that was kind of like the main thing that I really noticed throughout all of them were just like the incredible level of detail to like how you want the songs to sound and how particularly you wanted certain things to be like emphasized and stuff. I really appreciate that because I think not only does that, you know, show off your skills as songwriters, but I also think it also highlights that you guys have been working together for a long time, you know, and that even if I didn't know that you guys had worked together for a long time, it kind of felt like that was the undertone of how the songs are written because you know how in tune you guys are in terms of like, okay, this needs to happen here, this needs to happen here, or like, and I'm not saying there wouldn't be sort of any inner conflict with how the songwriting process goes, but I just feels a lot more you know sound in the way that you guys kind of arrange things where you're like okay I want this to hit someone really in a different way than maybe like the shredding part and like give you that sort of goosebumps or like you know as Ryan said just kind of make you want to lift more weights or cut larger carrots. I don't know, something like that. But like
The
it kind
biggest
of
carrots.
worked in that way, and so to know that you guys have been working together for that long, I think it, you know, like very rarely do you get to hear that. I feel you know within songwriting where people kind of have that sort of camaraderie in the writing. But I think that that's I'd argue one of your strongest suits is just the way that you guys like intermingle in that way where you're like, okay, these guys have been writing together for a long time. Like you can clearly hear that they go into a mission, they know what they want to do, and they come out with like the final result or like pretty damn close to the final result, and it's on point, you know?
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brent. Actually, something I should have mentioned in our kind of our story. Um, Even in trying our last band, Ryan lives about an hour and a half away from me, so we actually
Oh,
just got used to. We record remotely, is what I was going to say. We use the same software, Apple Logic, and we just share files over Google Drive, and we just pass them back as many times as we need to until the songs are done. But we've done that for years, like even before the pandemic. So once we started Lift the Curse, like that's how we were able to release, I think, 15-ish songs last year.
nice.
And
Wow.
then we got album 2 coming. We did all singles last year, and then we decided to put them all into an album just to make it easier for people to find.
Sure.
But now we're doing more traditional. We're doing about 5 singles, and then album 2 comes out in June. But anyways, yeah, we've done that for years, but we just have our process down so well. But shout out Logic and Google Drive.
I'm a little surprised that you use Google Drive and not like the iCloud. I feel like Mac people are very specific and they're like, we only use Apple products, you know? I
Yeah.
see it in my daily life. Like all of my coworkers, they all have iPhones, and I have my Google Pixel that is charging like behind me. I have like a homemade
That's funny.
PC. Like I don't have
Ah,
anything like Apple related. So like when people are like, yeah, so I just got the Apple teacup. I have like the Apple tablet. I have the Apple iWheels. I have the Apple AirPod, like they could just say, you could put I in front of anything, and I'd be like, oh shit, I
oh
didn't know
yeah,
they.
huh?
That's crazy. The Apple cat food dispenser, the I dispenser, wow, insane. That's crazy. Yeah, like you could literally say anything, and I would be like, why would
Yep.
they make something like that? And they're like, they didn't actually make it. I was like, but see, that's the thing. You could have convinced me that they made something like that.
Exactly.
I don't get it.
Totally.
Let us know if you're an
Yeah.
Apple user, which like obscene, like what's like the most outrageous thing that you would think an Apple product should be, but hasn't been made? Because I want to know. It just sounds,
Yeah.
it's insane. Only Apple people can answer this. I need to know if you actually aren't an Apple person. I'm gonna be very disappointed. Follow the rules. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
So, oh man, I went on like a little bit of tangent though. I also saw Ryan's
Love
computer
it.
just say like Mac in the background. So then I was like, okay, yeah, they're
That's
Logic.
funny.
I bet you they're Logic
Yeah, we're
people. I
Mac
bet
over
you.
there. And then actually, I'm on a Mac too. I have a work Mac and another Mac. So
Oh
I
my
guess,
God!
yeah,
All right.
Gmail's the only thing that Gmail Google Drive is, I think, the only non-Apple thing we use for
Okay.
the most part.
Don't say it too
But
loud though.
I used to be like Android, Windows, all that stuff. But over like the past 5 years, not like everything's kind of like converted me to. John was part of this. Converted me to Apple products. So here,
He couldn't help it.
Wow, the training worked, John. I think you just slowly whittled away at this man.
Gotcha. Apple.
John's like slowly hacking away at Ryan. He's just like, he just does like
Yep.
little small things. He's
Damn
just
it.
like, oh, I hate you. He like hated his phone, and he was just like, yeah, man, if you just had the AirTags, whew, you would have found that phone much sooner. Or track your phone. Oh man, that's such a great feature. Look, I can press this button on my computer, and I can go find my phone somewhere. Like.
Yeah.
On
wait,
my
you can't
Apple
do that?
tablet. Yeah, you can't do that? Oh, man. That's a real shame. Man. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just slowly whittling away at Ryan. I feel that. Well, it's all right, Ryan. I can't take you back to the Windows dark side, but it's okay. I'll just go cry in the corner somewhere. Just no, I'm kidding. If you like Apple stuff, that's great. I don't want to diss the Apple lovers here, but the next question I have for you guys is, what are you listening to? What's on the Spotify? What have you guys kind of been jamming to recently? I love asking this question because there's some bands that, I listen to a lot of bands, but I don't listen to all of them. So it's always nice to get a barometer on what people are listening to now.
yeah, for sure. So I have a history of just being nostalgic. I love just like listening to like the first couple Linkin Park albums or
Ooh.
the first Breaking Benjamin
Oh
album.
yeah.
I'm a real big Fuel fan, so going back to the late '90s, early 2000s with that, love it. But here lately, like over like the past year, I fell in love with a band called Broadside.
Oh,
Uh,
great
uh,
band.
Guys, The Raging Sea is a great album. I mean, that was one of those albums. As soon as I heard it, I was like, "Whoa!" I screenshotted it on my phone, made sure I didn't forget it, and I probably played it just on repeat. And that's what I do with albums. When I find something I like and a sound that I like, and it's a good album, man, I just dive into it, put it on repeat until I know it backwards and forwards. That was probably about a year ago. That I started going down that road. And then I found another band just recently called Floya,
Yes.
Floya.
I just had them on like not too long ago. Shout outs. I
Yeah,
love those guys.
Nice. Shout out.
cool sound. They've kind of got some like some clean '80s guitar thing going on.
Yeah.
Super melodic vocals and really rhythmic like drums behind it. I dig that kind of stuff. And so yeah, those are probably like two of the newer bands that are in their newer sounds, I guess, that I've been kind of jamming lately.
Nice, great choices. You know, two alumni here, Broadside and also Floya. So, you
Yeah.
know, listen, if you guys want to check that out, that'd be sick. If not, you know, it's fine too. Just check out Lift the Curse. Links in the description. You know, I got you guys. Anyway, John, what do you got?
Love it. Great choices, right? Man, I usually keep a couple different playlists. I keep one I call Metal Mania. It just has all like I said, I'm a huge Swedish metal fan. So Arch Enemy is one of my favorite bands.
Ooh.
I've loved not Sweden but Finland. Children Bodom is a big one for me. But all those bands, In Flames. Oh, have you heard of Amaranth or Amaranth?
Yes,
They're a Swedish
they're
band.
great too. Yep.
I was a little late to the party on them. Found them a few years ago, but they're one of my favorites. I love everything they do. So all of that type of stuff. Lately, I've been making playlists for a couple shows that I've been going to. Last week, saw Spirit Box, After the Burial, and Intervals.
Ooh.
If you're familiar with that, it was phenomenal. Sold out. All those bands are doing so well. If you haven't seen After the Burial live, they're one of my favorite live bands.
I have, yeah.
They're just, oh God, so much. Oh, and the crowd reaction is amazing every time. And then actually this weekend, really stoked for. I've been listening to Tunnel Lorna Shore because I'm seeing them opening for Mastodon and Gojira on Saturday.
Oh,
so,
love that.
Yeah. So again, I think I mentioned before we got on, but I live in Austin, Texas, and we just have too many shows, and it's a great problem to have. But there's just everyone's touring right now, and there's just a lot coming through.
Your wallet is just praying for some life, you know? It's just like, please give me some money. I need to live, you know? Like,
yeah, for real.
Your bank account's slowly like whittling. Yeah, I feel that. That's rough. I live close to Philly, so my dilemma is very similar to yours, where there's just so many tours and so many bands and things sell out so quickly. So it's a struggle, but hey, you know, it could, you know, I'll take it as a win because I wasn't even sure if we were going to have live shows anymore, you know, for the longest time. So for bands to not only be back out doing it, but like selling tours out and doing all that sort of stuff, fucking love seeing that. So I'll gladly miss out on a show if I know I can still see them again. So I love that. Big salutes.
Yeah.
Also love the new Spirit Box track. That was fantastic. I haven't listened to new After the Burial songs. The Void, yeah.
The one song you mean? Yeah. Oh, dude. Oh, it's so good.
But I know After the Burial released 2 new songs, and I have not checked those out yet. So I have to give those a listen.
Dude, they're just classic ATB. They play both of them live too, and they were phenomenal.
I'm sure they sound massive.
Huge.
Oh, every time I hear the like air horn, that I forget what song it is off the top of my head.
I know what you're talking about.
That's a great hit. I love that.
So good, dude.
But
one other band, Brandon. We got a gig coming up. We're opening for Mashes to New. So have you heard of them?
Yes,
I've been listening to them a bunch lately as well.
Very cool. So, they're great. Great band to see live. I just saw them recently.
Yeah, I haven't seen them yet.
I just saw them recently. I can't remember who I saw them with. But yeah, no, they're fantastic as well. So love that. Go check out for Mashes to New.
Yeah.
And then, you know, while you're there, you should also check out Lift the Curse, you know, links down there. Just saying, it's free. Go check it out. The next question I have for you guys, well, it's a two-parter. So I wanted to make a comment on. I saw Cutting Crew commented on your "I Just Died in Your Arms" cover, which I'm sure you guys were like floored. I mean, I feel like I would be floored. Like whenever bands comment
Yeah.
on like things that I do, and they're like, "Man, check this out! I love this," and I'm like, what? Like you watched my video? That's insane. So how did you guys feel once you got like the notification? It was like, oh yeah, like the Cutting Crew checked out your song and they like gave it two thumbs up. I think that's such a cool thing.
No, thanks for seeing that. I saw it, I think when I woke up, it was literally a couple days ago. I saw it when I woke up, like with one eye. And then I was like, man, I wonder if this is the real Cutting Crew. And then it said, like, I forgot what it said, like, great version, good luck, guys, Nick. And I looked on Wikipedia, and sure enough, Nick is like the singer. He's the only one with like a separate Wikipedia page.
Wow.
So, yeah. So just seeing that, and then of course clicking on it and seeing it was the real one. And of course told Ryan. Then we talk on the phone all the time, Ryan and I. So we talked about it shortly after, and he's like, "Wait, I mean, give your own reaction, Ryan." But yeah, quite the surprise. Definitely didn't expect that to happen, but it was cool.
Yeah. No, first off, thank technology that allows for stuff like that.
Yeah,
Because they could never ever hear that. But the fact that that guy actually took time out of his day to go check it out, obviously he probably wanted to hear if it's garbage or not, but then to
yeah, seriously.
further nice comment. It's just I don't know. It's a good like little boost. It's like, hey, doing the right thing, and it's a great song. So props to those guys for obviously writing it.
Yeah.
You know, back then and everything. But yeah, I think I don't know, it's really awesome to see somebody reach out and say something nice about it, especially from the band who wrote it. So
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious if people like sent that to him or something. Like that'd be pretty wild. So I don't know if you guys found out how that all came to be, but that's insane.
No idea. I was running the same thing. I'm like, okay, it had to be some friend saw it somewhere and like, hey, Nick, check this out.
Yeah, that would be my guess
I don't
because
know.
like every
Yeah.
once in a while I'll get like I'll get some bands that like will check out my stuff and they'll be like, oh my god, I watched you, like I saw you tag us in this and I checked it out and I love this. This is awesome. Like that just like to me that warms my heart. I spend a lot of time
Yeah.
doing it and I'm sure very similarly to you guys. So for them to like take time out of their day to like do this, like that's amazing. So big salutes Cutting Crew. But the follow-up question I have for you guys is since that one's freshly new, if there was another song you guys wanted to cover, do you have any in mind, that you want to kind of lay the groundwork for right now,
Oh, dude.
the list,
We have such a long list. We can name some. We can name a few. There actually, Ryan, if you want to name the old GB song we want to do, I think that one will happen at some point.
Oh,
You already mentioned him. Come on.
I was thinking Green Bay. I was thinking football.
Oh.
Yeah, Garth Brooks, obviously.
Alderman did the Thunder Rolls
Yeah.
one. It was really cool.
Bands that rolls it, which is, I mean, honestly, when you listen to it, you're like, yeah, that can totally be a rock
song.
Calling on Baton Rouge. We've really want to do that one of these days, because I guess that really the main thing is there's a fiddle in there that does this crazy lick, and we're just thinking that John Boy over here and
It'd be so fun.
play that.
It'd be so fun.
That's pretty to the top for us. Yeah, John, do you have another one that in mind for you?
Yeah, I used to keep a Spotify playlist so we'd remember them, but I know. Oh, dude, we want to do a Kelly Clarkson song at some point. I think we landed on was it Behind Hazel Eyes? Which one did we land on?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It wasn't Since You we were like, we can't do Since You Been Gone, even though I of course love that song, but like,
Sure.
that's the obvious choice. But but I think it's Behind Hazel Eyes, the way it just like starts. We could just make it a little faster, a little heavier.
I'm about it. I
yeah.
like Kelly Clarkson. She's great. I feel like she watches my stuff. Shout out to Kelly. Thanks for watching.
Shout out Kelly.
Appreciate. You never know. I never know. I never count it out. Maybe she might wind up throwing in a video on in her free time. I hope it's Lift the Curse, Kelly. So that'd be really sick. That's a good one.
I will say the nice thing the nice thing about Ryan's voice, if you haven't tried to sing along to any of our stuff, I encourage you to try it, because every time I do, it's like, damn, Ryan, he always sings higher than I think he does until you go and try it. But the nice thing about that is it's pretty easy to cover female singers if we ever want to. So nothing's
you
out of the
go.
question.
Ryan's putting the team on his back. I love it.
Yeah, for real.
The 2-man team on his one back.
Yeah,
but
I'm on Ryan's back.
yeah, you're
Literally.
yeah, you're giving Ryan. Ryan is giving
The
you a
math.
piggyback.
The
I love
visual's
that.
really easy.
The visual is so easy. Otherwise, it'd be like difficult with like 3 band members. I'm pretty sure we just blow Ryan's back out. That'd be terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't want
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Medical insurance is not cheap, you know. So we like,
Nope.
yeah. Ryan comes up to the next show in like a brace. He's like,
Yeah.
you go, my lungs.
Patch.
Oh man. Well, hopefully that doesn't happen. Don't break Ryan's back. Don't do that. It's not good. No, not kosher here. But you know it is kosher. You should let Lift the Curse know what you would love to hear them cover down in the comment section below.
Yeah.
If you have a good cover, you know, that's a great option, but I don't know. Maybe they'll do it, maybe they won't. I don't know. I can't, you know, I'm not in the band. I'm just an outside source. So, you know, if you want to make your vote known, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, we're open to it. We've only done 2 for Lift the Curse so far, and they're both 80s-ish. We did a Boston Peace of Mind cover last year.
I'll have to
Really
check that out.
fun.
I'm
Such a cool
a
song.
huge Boston fan. I love that.
Dude, they're so good, right? I feel like they're underrated for that.
Heavily
era.
underrated. My parents used to play that all of the time. My dad actually gave me his like OG like Boston album. Like he had his one that, as a kid.
Oh,
So like he gave that to me. So he knows how much I love that album. So shout outs to Papa Z. But
Papa Z.
that one I'll treasure a lot. I mean, obviously the other one I'll treasure is I have all of the Under Oath records, or the first 3 Under Oath records
nice.
in like a box set. So, you know,
Nice.
love to get that, you know, Under Oath. I'd love to get that signed, much like the poster hanging above in my room here, you know, just saying, you know, hit the DMs up. That'd be kind of sick, you know, just saying, you know, just putting it out there, but the next question I have for you guys is, what is your favorite food to eat?
Chicken sausage. No.
I knew that was coming.
Nice. Just the chickens. I just go to Ryan's house and his refrigerator is just stacked full of just chicken. Do you have anything to drink? We have chicken sausage juice. That's and he puts it in a blender. Yeah. With some ice. He's just like, yeah, I drink this all the time. It's delish. It's just like
It's a tough one. I love to grill out. Yeah, I don't know. You can't beat a good steak, and I like to do steaks at home. I don't like going to restaurants. Usually, I go to a restaurant and I'm like, nah, I can do a better steak at home. I would say
Chef Ryan here. All right. Michelin star Chef Ryan. He's just like, yeah, I can make a steak better at home, man. I've got it. I've got all the tools. He's out here like this, you know. He's like this, cut against the grain, you know. He's like, oh, wait, I got to make sure this is perfectly medium rare, you know. If you eat anything else, it's shoe leather and get the fuck out of my house. No, kidding.
Yeah. Not allowed.
Nope. That shit out of here.
You got it. You got it. I love that. That's a good one.
I'll go 2 things. I eat almost the same thing for lunch every single day. It's gonna be super boring, but I love these turkey patties, and I put them in. I eat 2 wraps, and then I throw some of it in a salad too. So I like to eat pretty healthy, but I do love here in Austin. There's a million different Tex-Mex places. There's a place that is literally across the street from where I live called La Mancha, and I get either al pastor tacos, or I do love fish tacos. I love anything under the sea, so I'll snag those. And usually when I do, thanks to COVID, they do to-go margaritas still, so usually snag one of those too.
Sounds like a good time. That seems like a that seems like a win-win if you ask me. That's great.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Every time.
Chicken sausages, you know, Sunday, delicious. You know, I'm just kidding.
Dude, don't sleep on it. It is really good.
Oh God, I can't. No, I can't get behind that. That is just like, oh man. That's like if you really just have gone. I feel like if I start eating like chicken sausage is like a dessert, I feel like that's probably I need to just stop going to the gym. Like I'm just like basically just like I'm just one giant muscle, at that point.
You
No,
are
Between
protein.
is the chicken sausage that John told me about and turned me on to. It's chicken sausage, but it's called apple Gouda. So it's got apple chunks in it, and I guess Gouda. I haven't found the Gouda yet, but it's in there.
Yeah, I haven't had a Gouda sighting, but supposedly it's in there.
he says it's in there, I'm gonna believe him.
But
Why would Why would John lie to me like that?
it's really good. Like
Where's the fucking Gouda, man?
it's really good.
I feel like Ryan,
Yeah.
next time he gets those, he's gonna he's gonna have like a magnifying glass.
I found the Gouda.
He's like, oh, there it is. I gotta snap a pic, and then he takes out his iPhone and he sends it. But
Yeah.
I love that. Oh man, but that sounds good. I would get that. I would jump on the chicken sausage train if that was if that was the type of sausages I was eating.
For
But
sure.
can't say I haven't had a chicken sausage in quite a long time. So.
Yeah.
But I love those answers. I'm a huge Tex-Mex fan. If like, I'm also like a home cook as well. So I feel like, I felt very akin to Ryan's answer, like I could make a steak at home just as good as a restaurant, if not better. So I feel that, and also it tastes better because you made it, I feel like there's like the extra little bit, that like somebody else that's just like you ask for like a medium rare and they give you like a medium steak and then you're just like, what the fuck, man? I asked for medium rare, bro. Jesus, this is terrible. I gotta get out of here. And then Ryan's like, I'm gonna take myself and just get out of here. And then they're like, sir, you didn't pay for your food. And I was like, I asked for medium rare. And that's it. That's how the conversation goes. He's like, I can make it better at home. And then he goes out and you can just hear him like throw his steak on like the grill at like 11 o'clock at night. He's just like, man, I couldn't do
Just
it.
proving a point.
Oh, he's all. I was.
I've done that.
Wow. It's almost. I feel like I know you guys too well without even knowing you at all. So that's pretty impressive.
Yep.
The musicality really comes out, in the like, I was listening to that one, I was listening to The Dead and I was like, man, is this a song about that one time that like that Ryan didn't pay for the steak?
11 o'clock steaks, man.
Yeah, that makes
He's
sense.
just fucking pissed in his backyard.
Is that grill searing I hear right now? Oh, great. Wow, I can't believe it's such attention to detail,
Yeah.
Oh, love it. All right, guys. The next question I have for you is, if you guys were to have a dream collaboration on an up-and-coming Lift the Curse track, who would you absolutely love to work with?
You go, John.
Oh, man, that's tough. I mean, obviously getting any of the guitar players I mentioned before, like Zach Wilder. I mean, when I say Metallica, it's the combo for me, the James and Kirk effect.
Okay,
but
if you're going big, you go home. That's what you guys do.
Yeah. I'll say one that might happen. It's actually. So, side note: are you familiar with the band The Browning, Brandon?
Oh yeah.
Band or the name?
Oh, they're great.
Okay.
Yeah. Shout, salutes.
Yeah. So I play in them too, or I did last year for a tour with them. But so Johnny the singer is a good friend of mine. He's been doing some art for Ryan and I. He did art for the Spotify version of I Just Died in Your Arms. He did the art for Tidal Wave. Shout out Johnny McBee. But he might be doing a few guest screams on one of our songs in the album. So hoping that happens. I think the stars are aligned. But yeah, he's a good friend, really good dude. So shout out Johnny.
OG, I love that band. That is sick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Johnny. Come on the show. That'd be sick. That's my shill. For Johnny.
You probably would, actually.
I'll hit him up. Johnny, come on. Let's do it, man. Don't make me look like an idiot. I never like looking like an idiot. But if I did, this would be fair,
It's fine.
Ryan, what about you?
All right.
Man, that's a tough one because I mean, you said I think you said the word dream in there. So
I did. You might as well envision what you want. Like I feel like put it out in the universe. That's the real thing.
Right. So John and I, we've kind of talked about this before, and probably not on the dream level, but more of like the what's accessible level.
Okay.
but I would say dream level, man, I'm a huge Benjamin Burnley fan. So Breaking Benjamin, yeah, that would be. It'd be hard to not do that. I'm also a big Gerard Way fan. I love my Chemical
Oh,
Romance.
yeah.
I love those two guys. Their note choices, and I do think there's obviously producers in there helping them out, and whenever they're recording or writing songs. But to me, Breaking Benjamin or Benjamin Burnley, he's never written a bad song or a bad vocal part, and he could talk about whatever he wants to in his lyrics. And he picks these notes, and I'm like, yep. So I think if I had to go with one guy or one person, it'd probably be him, Benjamin Burnley from Breaking Benjamin for sure.
What was your more feasible choice, Ryan? Because you said there was one that you're like, this could happen.
Well, so in the Texas scene, there's so many bands, there's so many good bands around here, and so it feels like you could potentially run into somebody at like a local bar or a show and be like, hey, would you want to sing on our album? Or so I don't know. That's a tough one, but I do know Flyleaf, they're right down the road in Temple, so it'd be awesome to get Lacey on a track one day. That'd be fun.
I like how you were just like, I just want to say how nonchalant Ryan was about that. He's like, yeah, so like Fly lives down the street, no big deal.
They're rock at their place right now.
They're just a stone's throw away, no big deal.
Playing a show Temple with Lacey. So yeah, but yeah, they were in Temple whenever they made it big, and I heard recently that they were kind of on the way back up and getting together and going down on a tour. And yeah, sure enough, I saw I guess it was last week that they were playing a show tonight in Temple. So
oh wow.
Well, let's go knock on their door, just take me with you and we'll go say it, I'd be like, put the microphone up to her and be like, come on, you're not on the spot, just say it, just say yes, please. I beg you. My conscience is on the line right now. Oh man, that's awesome. Well, guys, you already know, if you've been on the channel for long enough, listen, I believe in, the power of just belief, and, it's out on the internet. So, we can use our combined force. What I want you to do is I want you to tag Lift the Curse on social media along with Breaking Benjamin, Flyleaf, The Browning, and say collab ? And then, I'm not a legal scholar. I didn't go to legal, I'm not a law student or anything. But, if it is out on the internet, there's a very good chance it's real. So like, who am I to say that that's not true? So just saying, if you just hit the retweet or you shared it, just saying, I'm gonna leave the power in your hands. But, I feel like that'd be kind of sick if you ask me. So just saying. You want to make it happen, you should do it.
Yeah.
So the next question I have for you guys is a kind of a throwback to the questions that you had before, which was the fact that like you guys are a duo. You do a lot of the like writing in-house. Like, I'm curious as to why like you guys and kind of source out other band members to kind of be like a bass player or a drummer, and just why you guys kind of, again, are a duo. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I think your writing, as I mentioned before, is like pretty well acquainted together. Did you feel like maybe adding other members to the pot might have messed up like the secret Lift the Curse formula? I'm just curious as to that thought process, because that was kind of like ringing in my head a little bit. I was like, that's cool, they're a duo, but I'm like, they must also be just doing all this shit in house. There's no way that they're like unless they like have like just robots there in the back that look both like you and John, then it's just like, wow, these guys really look similar. It's so weird, I can't even tell them apart. That's crazy,
I think this is gonna sound weird, but I think simplicity plays a huge role in that. And I know that sounds like, oh, well, that's kind of like a lazy move, right? Well, if you a lot of times when you do have, let's say, 6 members or seven
Hmm.
members, 5 members, whatever, um, there's lots of challenges that come with that. Not just the music side of things, but getting together and all of that. But for us, I think it was that emphasis again on the songwriting was, how organic can we make this process to where our songs get like literally the most love possible
Sure.
without any fighting or any of the drama bull crap that's not necessary. You know, we I think we live by the motto like what do the songs deserve? And they deserve us to just have no restraints of any of that. So it's actually pretty easy to make that decision. Again, we found out like, hey, we're pretty good at writing songs together. We can communicate pretty well. We can obviously do this over a distance. We don't have to be in the same room to do this. And then it's just a plus that we, both play multiple instruments too. And so, I'm not the best drummer in the world, but again, going back to the songwriting, we have a vision for the song, and it's like, okay, I'm going to take it from the brain and put it down and see what comes out. So, I would say simplicity. Keep it as simple as possible, and then that way the music gets what it deserves.
Anything else to add, John?
Yeah, I think no, well said, right? I would just say for us, again, we've been doing this distance thing for so long. And again, we're only an hour and a half away, but we both have I have a normal day job, Ryan has a day job and 3 kids and a wife, so we have other things going on. So
Sure. Yeah.
um yeah, just to simplify all that's really, really nice. But also we maximize the time when we do get together. So we do most of our own videos too. We've had Dustin do a few, but basically when we get time away from all the other stuff and we get together, we're usually shooting music videos or doing something like that, because we've already done the music and we've already taken care of it ourselves and stuff. So that's how we're able to move so fast. And I think back to the songwriting part, that really is the most important part to us. So it just enables us to pretty much always be writing, which makes us both very, very happy. So,
No.
um,
Yeah. I
and
think it.
yeah, it's best.
I also think it kind of like streamlines the process a little bit more too. Like, I think there's just like, obviously I love bands with like a lot of members in it, but I also feel like I can see your viewpoint. I kind of found a lot of similarities to how like I do this. Like, no one else is doing this. It's just me, and like I feel like I'm very streamlined in how I do things. And people ask me all the time, they're like, oh, would you like have like an assistant or somebody you'd want to do this? And I was just like, it's no offense to them. I just don't feel like they could do it to the
Yeah.
capacity I can do it, and I think that, like, very similarly to your process, like, you guys are both equally like, we want to do this, we want to continue forward on with music. Like, we know how we work because we've been working together for such a long period of time. So it just felt like the natural process to just kind of do that. And I don't feel like there's any skipped beats, I think that, like, both in the sort of bass and the like drumming parts, like those are all very solid. Like, I don't think they, like, if you had told me that like you guys worked on them, I probably would have just like been like, oh, okay. I kind of like either just thought that or like you guys kind of programmed it or something like that. But I didn't really feel like they were like, I feel like they were good additions to the song, but I think a lot of this, obviously the larger part of the song is like the guitar writing and like the vocal performance. And I think that those shine. And while maybe, the drumming or the bass playing might not be like over the top or like, a little bit more like humanified, like, I guess, in that sort of way, like, I don't feel like they're just like rigid. I don't feel like you're just like, all right, let's put a fill in and just make it seem like really like glaringly out of place. I think it does all collectively work as a unit. So I appreciate the sheer fact that you guys are just a duo and everything in itself as a collective, like the songwriting feels cohesive where it wouldn't seem like you needed other members in the band. Like if you were to do it live, I'm sure that's obviously a different process. Otherwise, like, you'd have one guy with a guitar and then like someone trying to play the drums at the same time. I think that would just be
Ryan's
too
yeah,
much. That'd
drums
be
to the state.
too much of a process. I wouldn't want to see that certainly. But I think that I think that the kind of the thought process of it, I think you guys really worked it out to the point where it's like you guys get right to the point in that regard. So I got to give you guys a lot of credit for that because like being a
Thank you.
two-man project, that's a difficult feat. So I got to give you guys the kudos because it takes a lot of work and it doesn't feel like you guys skimped in any way, which is insane to me. So
Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot. Yeah, and I'll say we pretty much agree on things 99.5% of the time, and that extra 0.5 we just talk out, and we're very honest with each other. So again, that part all works and everything. And oh, from a live standpoint, we do have a human drummer that plays with us. I will shout out Kyle Vanderhoof. Yeah, it's not
he's just a
no
robot.
robots.
Kyle's just like
Yeah, yeah. He's perfect every time.
yeah. They're like, wow, he's just so great. He's almost like robotic, and they're like, did you say robotic?
Yeah,
He's gonna activate if if you say that loud enough.
yeah. Careful.
Yeah, careful. He's gonna start drumming. We don't want him to. He's taking
Yeah.
all this stuff off the stage now, so you don't want him to reset it up. Just let him go through his decompression phase, and then you do whatever you want after that. No, shout out to Kyle's gonna watch this and be like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Like, he'll
Probably.
be like, "I'm not a robot." Well, Kyle, let us know in the comments if you're not a robot. Let us know. Comment
Yeah.
that you're a real
Yeah,
person,
Kyle.
a real boy. Let's love that.
Kyle's a real
But
boy.
I love that, and I think that I appreciate that you guys didn't add members just to add members. Like I think that a lot of bands go through that process, especially like, with the closeout of other bands or like, moving on and trying different projects. Like I feel like it's always the second thought, like if somebody wants to start a project, they're like, oh, I need new members, I need to get new members. Like, and I think for the sheer fact that you guys knew right out the gate that you were like, okay, like we are good songwriters individually, but we're great songwriters as a duo. And I think that like that attention to thought process, I think I appreciate a lot more because it's like you didn't go out and try to find another third member. Like, I mean, obviously, kudos to Kyle for doing it live, doing this stuff live, certainly, but like I appreciate the fact that you didn't just get a member just to get another member. You really thought about it, and I'm sure that process wasn't like the easiest to come to, but I imagine you just felt like that was the natural, next step for Lift the Curse, and I got to appreciate that cuz very easily you could have filled the spot and maybe you might not have written as cohesive as music as possible. Not to again, these are all in hypotheticals, but like I do feel like the songwriting is so tuned in that maybe the addition of adding someone else might have thrown it out of whack in that way. So I appreciate the thought to detail because that's a difficult stance to go through, but I think you guys definitely muddled the storm in terms of like wanting to do that. So wanted to give you props for that, and I'm always curious as to
Thank you.
why bands, either do wind up getting other members or don't wind up getting members because I think it's like an interesting process into the psyche of bands and why they feel like it might work. So you guys are doing a great
Yeah.
job. So that's I don't think it
Thanks,
was very
man.
hard to discern that, but
No,
the
I would say shout out to real normal bands too. We have nothing against them. It just works really well for us.
shout outs to real normal bands that make normal
Yeah,
music.
shout out to 5 pieces, 8 pieces, whatever. Oh.
If you got two tour buses and you like duct tape them together so you can get to the next venue, you got, hey, whatever. People gotta do what they gotta do. So
Right. Respect it all.
respect it all. The next question I have for you guys is if you were to compile a dream tour lineup, including Lift the Curse, who would be on the tour? And I will say it's like, a primo stack lineup for bands, including yourself. I feel like that's, you gotta be a night to remember.
You go first.
My mind always, yeah. My mind always goes to, like, not necessarily like my favorite bands, but almost bands that I think would be a good fit with. That's kind of where my mind usually goes first. Like that's why when we did get this from Ashes to New show, I thought that was a pretty good fit for us. So we're super pumped for that. But I'm trying to think. Ryan, if you have any bands, throw them out because we're probably gonna land on some of the same ones. Breaking Benjamin would be an easy one. Man, I'll say actually a tour that I saw in Austin before COVID that was just such a fun show, but for us to be planted at the beginning of it would be so sick. If I remember right, I think it was Bad Wolves. I might be mixing some stuff up, but this would be sick. Bad Wolves, Nothing More, Breaking Benjamin, and Five Finger Death Punch, I think it was. But if you just throw Lift the Curse at the beginning of that bad boy, that'd be great.
That's pretty
Give us
good.
20 minutes. Give us 20 minutes.
I love
See,
that.
I like mixed genres
Oh, man of taste.
or mixed genre tours. I don't know. Like start the night out with country and then go to rock. I don't know. Just an idea.
Love it. A new festival.
So in that world, I would probably pick like a Clay Walker because he's vocal wise my favorite human beings ever. No, but yeah, Breaking Benjamin's a great one. Like I said earlier, shoot, John, that lineup that you said was pretty good.
It was a really good show.
Yeah,
it was fun to be at.
Kind of hard. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably go with the Breaking Benjamin, Lift the Curse, Linkin Park, Metallica tour. That sounds great.
I mean, Metallica, yeah, would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
That would be sick. I like that. I obviously much love the Linkin Park. One of the first bands that kind of got me into the scene as well. So love their stuff. And anytime they realize that Meteor turned 20 years old, my hair starts to turn more gray. So
For real.
Yeah. Getting more and more grays in this.
I get out of my shower and like actually all the black parts of my hair start to just turn gray. It's just been painted over. That's how I feel. Either that or like when I interview like a band with like kids that are like in their senior year of high school and I'm like, I'm a 30-year-old. This is fucking this is nuts. I'm like, they're like, yeah, I've never heard of like Warped Tour. I'm like, oh my chest.
Yeah, what is Warped Tour? What is Ozfest?
Oh my god, yeah. Any of those things like that hurts. that like I can feel like the sharp pain in my chest,
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon, was it hybrid theory for you or Meteora? Or both? I think I first heard
that's tough.
was probably the first
I think I started I'm almost positive I started with Meteora first, but then went back and listened to Hybrid Theory and I was like, man, these are both like master. I still think they are albums that you can listen to now and still think they're modern. Like if you threw out the Linkin Park Nink and you threw it back on there, I don't think anybody would be. I felt like they were so ahead of their time musically, and like some of their stuff that like I didn't really like love as a kid. Now I like enjoy so much more now. Like minutes after midnight, like all the ones like that predated like the classics, and so I still think that despite their writing and stuff, like Chester had gotten like infinitely better at like the process of writing. Also, I don't know what happened to Ryan here. His screen.
You just pissed him off. He didn't agree with whatever you just said. He's like, "Fuck you, Brandon."
He's like, "I'm out." He's like, "See you later." He's like, "You didn't pick Meteora. That was the wrong answer."
Yeah.
Oh my god! Oh, there he's back. Okay.
That was awesome.
Meanwhile, behind it, while the camera's blacked out, he's like this.
Fuck you!
I hate you, man! How dare you? No, I'm just kidding.
Ryan, you were Hybrid Theory first, right? Weren't you?
Oh yeah, Hybrid Theory first.
Okay, that's what I thought.
In the end, Crawling, all that stuff.
I mean, both of them are great. It's hard to. I think it's hard to pick. Like they both have merit. It's so tough.
And it's
so good.
Nostalgic feel now. Like I know I talked about my nostalgic. Like I listen to the same stuff over and over and over again. But yeah, I mean, anytime I hear those songs, it takes me back to where I was.
Right back.
It's those. I get the goosebumps.
Rise, there's still that really old video of you singing "Crawling" on YouTube somewhere. You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
It is, right? Was it gone?
Yep.
Shit. Search Ryan Hegefeld Crawling.
Oh man, Ryan.
It's great. Little baby Ryan.
Oh man, I'm sorry, Ryan. You got thrown under the bus like that. I will say
Yeah, you
there
can take it down.
I will say that there is some old guitar covers of me online. I'm not gonna divulge where they're at, but they're on YouTube. I'll just say
They're
that
out
much.
there. Love it.
No one's found it as of yet, so I'm still safe. But they are online, so I'm just gonna leave it
The
that.
hunt is on.
That's it.
I go
We
search
got to
to
find it.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so if Ryan finds it, then I'll link it in the description just so Ryan doesn't feel alone, you know.
Yeah.
So if Ryan does find it, that's if Ryan finds it. That's the question. So if he finds it, all
Uh,
hands are on deck.
yeah, yeah.
I'll put it in the description. But if he doesn't find it, then the search still continues. That's all I'm gonna say. Don't actively go looking for it, please. For the love of God, I feel like I've gotten better at guitar, so just leave it there. But anyway, the next question I have for you guys is obviously we did talk about a dream tour lineup, but I'm sure you guys have seen your fair share of live bands. But in your opinion, who kind of puts on the best live performance in terms of the bands you've seen?
That's tough because I've got like my favorite live bands, but then best live performance makes me almost think a little bit differently. Like I saw Iron Maiden last year. I've seen them a couple
Ooh,
times, but they're just like they literally changed fucking sets, entire stage sets in between songs. It's like not every
oh,
band
I
has
didn't
that
know that.
capability.
Wow,
Every couple songs, Brandon. No, it was so cool.
that's
So
wild.
Iron Maiden's definitely up there. I gotta say, I saw Ghost back in like 2015 or 16, maybe, and it was so fun. It was like going to a musical because there was like an intermission. Like it was
Wow.
wild. So those are two that pop out for sure. But I just gotta say, a couple of my favorite live bands in general: Arch Enemy, After the Burial, like we talked about a bit ago. Just so much fun every time. Um, yeah, shout out them. But I gotta say, Maiden and Ghost were like two of the best actual like performances I've ever seen in my life.
Ryan, what are your answers?
Well, John has seen so many more bands than I.
You also have 3 kids,
I
so
do love shows.
I'll spare
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'll spare you a little. You know.
No, I think I'm kind of old school in the sense that, like, yeah, I want to be wowed by what's going on stage, you know, presence wise, or how maybe a stage looks. I was pretty impressed by this is about probably 6 years ago. Papa Roach came through Belton, and I really dug the light show, and I mean they just put on an incredible performance. They literally had nothing on stage but them, and they just ran around like crazy, and the energy there. And Jacoby, I mean, he hit like every note like it was, you know,
He's good live.
like he
Really
was.
good live.
So while I don't really know that many Papa Roach songs per se, other than like the oldies,
Sure.
I was in the crowd just like, wow, I'm really impressed by kind of that. I can't go without saying I saw Nothing More back in
Ooh.
uh man, it was like they were on their way up, and it was in Austin at South by Southwest. I think right before we had played in another band, John.
Oh, we saw them together, right? Right?
Yeah.
We saw them one time. Yeah, yeah. Oh, so Brandon, they're from San Antonio, which is about an hour and a half
Okay.
from Austin.
Yeah.
So we have some mutual friends. We've met them a couple times, but like we saw their ascent, if you will.
Yeah.
That's
Like
sick.
they were.
Like in a tent.
It was
With a small tent.
no. I forgot
Probably-
about that, dude. That was epic.
There was probably only 40 people in this tent, but they put on the performance essentially that they go put on now. Minus
Now, without the big machine thing. Didn't
Yeah.
have that yet.
Wow.
No large metal machine.
vocal effects and just, you know, obviously their songwriting is just
Yeah.
killing. Yeah, I remember like that day being like, wow, that was freaking awesome. That's the best show I've ever seen in a tent.
And then now, and then now you're like, wow, they're doing these big
Arenas,
tours,
you
big
know?
stages and stuff, and that's awesome. You love to see that because I
Awesome.
always make this comment in all of the interviews that I've done over, God, over 7 years now at this point. But
Oh, wow.
I always find that like for bands, it's just like your favorite band was playing in a tent somewhere. You know what I mean? Like out in the
At
middle of
some
fucking
time.
nowhere. You know what I mean? Like at some point in time in their career, you know? And so I always say like, when you find out about these bands, like you never know where they're at in their whole musical career, musical journey, but like it's so important. Like I think it kind of shows off the importance of being able to like if you like this band, like if you can support them, do it. Like, because I think that it helps them get from that like tiny like tent stage at South by So What to be playing like massive like stadiums or like big venues in other cities that like now they have a following and now they're doing like incredibly well. So I think like it goes to show how much of an impact that fans have on the projection of other people's music. And I also feel like to me it's like I want other people to feel the like positivity of how much like I enjoy your music, and I think that obviously helps. Like very rarely do you ever see me talk shit about a band because I think for me it's like I'm not in that position to do that. Don't really want to do it first and foremost, and secondly, like if I don't like it, I'll just flat out say I don't like it, but I'm not gonna go any further than that. Like it's just like I don't like it, just doesn't jive with me. Somebody else might like it, and I think that's kind of like to me like even if I don't really feel like this is for me, it might be for someone else. And you know as much as I like you guys and what you do, like maybe this might not be something for someone, and they might be like, oh, but you should check out Brandon Sting with Lift the Curse. Like they're sick, they seem like they would be a band for you. And then I think that kind of like commingling and stuff is great. And so I hope that people enjoy the interview, certainly, and I hope that people go check out Lift the Curse. Links in the description. You thought I wasn't gonna hit you with that link in the description, but I did. So I turned it around. So links below. Go check them out. They're great, awesome people. Shout outs to James. But yeah, no, the nothing
Shout out
more
James.
thing. No, the nothing more thing. That's awesome. Well, I'm glad that you got to see him, like rise to the succession, and I hope the same for you guys. That I hope you're not playing in a tent, but like slightly above a tent.
Bring
Like
it.
maybe like
A nice
I don't
tent.
know, like a nicer tent, or like like an overhang, or I don't know, something. I don't know what they have out in Texas. I've never been to Texas, so I'll have to go to South by So What and let you guys know. So that's my next goal, is just to go to a bunch of music festivals. So I'm gonna have to. I'll keep you guys posted. If I come out to the Austin area, we'll have to get some Tex-Mex or something.
Yeah, there you go.
There we
Some
go.
good spots.
Oh, don't tempt me with a good time, guys. I love
They're
it. But the next question I have for you is favorite TV show, favorite movie.
Ooh, favorite movie for me. I like some pretty cheesy ones, but Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg and Jennifer Aniston. You ever seen it?
Mm.
It just makes me so happy.
Oh, yeah.
And the soundtrack is just unmatched. And actually, fun fact: Zach Wilde wrote a bunch of the songs on that song.
What? I did not know that.
He makes a cameo.
Wow, what an
There's a shitload of
accolade!
cameos in the, dude, he's in
like,
it.
yeah, I
He's
was in the movie Rockstar. I'm not a rock star myself, but I'm in the movie Rockstar.
Yeah, no big deal. That's probably my number one on the movie side. Show wise, man, it's got to be between probably Breaking Bad, The Wire, and I'm super into Ted Lasso right now. It just makes me so happy.
Nice.
So probably
Yeah.
a tie between those three.
I like that. Ryan?
Man, yeah, that's a tough one. On the show side, I'm gonna go with the mini series from HBO. That was Brothers.
Oh yeah, classic.
Yeah. I've watched that thousands of times, and I could just watch over and over and over and over again. It's really tough to not include Harry Potter. But it's like,
hey, yeah, HP
movie. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one though. If not Harry Potter, I would just go with, I don't know, Joe Dirt.
Oh, man.
I love that.
I did watch that movie a lot. Back in the day.
That's great.
Great answer.
I'm just waiting for
Like, it
Ryan
was on
in the
like
next.
USA all the time.
I'm waiting for Ryan in his next music video to just have like the hair of Joe Dirt. Can he just do that one time where he gets a wig and he's just like playing the guitar? Just a little Joe Dirt hair. That'd be tight.
Right, do you still have the Quick Draw McGraw wig?
No, so
You had something similar, Brandon. Yeah, this is real.
John and I met, and one time we were doing some. He mentioned our country project. One time, came over and we were doing I guess a Black Star Sunset song. We were recording it, and I decided to dress up while I was playing the bass track. I had like this camo vest on and like a big camo poofy vest on and a cowboy hat and a mullet. And
No.
I'm kidding. You
Yeah.
know Brandon, you know what a sticker burr is?
No, I don't. Oh man.
I didn't either.
And there's these little they're demonic, I promise you, but it's a plant essentially. But they're these little itsy bitsy little beads that have spikes on them, and you walk out in your yard and you get
Oh
them.
yeah, no. I know exactly what
Yeah.
those are. Holy shit. I didn't know they had a name. I just thought they were just
And
like a pain in the ass, literally.
it wasn't like this was like a wig mullet thing that I had gotten from some party store, Halloween store or whatever. But anyways, I guess it had been thrown on the ground at some point in time, and it had sticker burrs stuck in it. So I'm recording,
No.
and we found mullet. It was the most redneck thing in the world, but that's yeah.
Oh no.
So,
Go dirt.
Oh man.
yeah,
You really
so
were.
true.
You really
Should be.
did. I had to take. I gotta give. Listen, I gotta give kudos for Ryan for very much getting into character on that. Like the man had those sticker burrs or whatever the hell they're called, like stuck in a fake head of hair. I mean that's some true dedication if you ever ask me. So I like that. Obviously I hope that doesn't happen to you again. So, but the that wig sounds wild. I'm never gonna do that. I hope I never do that here. Unless I get like some like just like outrageous hair just for like a milestone. I said
Do
for
it.
my milestone, I would get like one of those big cowboy hats and
Yeah.
then like somehow try to like finagle my headset over this giant ass cowboy hat. Once I hit 500,000, that's when I'll get the big cowboy hat. So if you want to help me get to big cowboy hat level of YouTube, then let me know. Hit that subscribe button. But the next question I have for you guys: if you were trapped on a desert island for the next month, and there was one album you could bring with you to listen to, what album would that be?
I think I know mine. Mine would probably. I think I mentioned this earlier, but probably the Metallica Symphony CD.
Ooh.
I think it's a double. It's kind of a cheating answer because I think it's a double album, so a little bit more
No,
music.
no, that's fine. I was. That's
Okay,
not.
okay.
I don't feel like that's cheating. I got you. That's
Okay.
you're in the green. Yeah.
Wait. Woo.
Man, I would probably go. I'm still pretty stuck on the Broadside album as a whole. Like I listen from the first track all the way through and then repeat. I'm still, even after a year of listening to it, I'm still pretty in it. So I would say that one in its entirety. Yeah.
I would agree. I go back and
That's,
listen to that often. Yeah.
yeah, that's the Raging Sea album.
Oh, it's fantastic. I think they like really found their like rock roots on that album. Like they were more like pop punk like all the way. And then
Yep.
this album was like a complete like tonal shift. The new
Yeah.
song is good too. I don't know if you checked out Cruel, but that one's fantastic.
Cruel is very, very good. Yeah.
It's very poppy. I like it. I think they're moving into even newer category now of music, so I like
Yeah.
that. They're just vibing. Great. If you haven't, well, probably by the time this comes out, the tour might be over with. But they were on tour with the Home Team, which is another homie. Shout out to the homies. I love those guys.
Oh, you know who opened that one? Honey Revenge.
They're also
I've
great too.
gotten into them
Yeah,
a little bit too. Really good. Yeah.
great like pop kind of like rock aesthetic. They just crushed it. So salutes to them. Um,
Yeah.
the last question, guys, as much as like I'd love to talk to you for the next like 3 hours of my life or longer, all the good things must come to an end. But the biggest question I always lay out on the last of my interviews is a favorite of mine I've been asking for like during the pandemic and just like one that I feel like continued on and is now part of the regular rotation of questions. But um I really love doing interviewing. This is a passion of mine. I love, being able to spend time with bands, get to know them, and like really get like more entwined with what they do and have more an appreciation for the music they create. But the question I have for you guys is, why are you guys so passionate about making music? You know, like you have a lot of other stuff going on in your life. You know, you have things that you could very much be doing with your, you know, with your time, but you choose to spend it to make music videos, like, you know, the time it takes to just meticulously, like, you know, syncopate one drum beat over the other drum beat in Logic. You know, I'm speaking very specifically to all of my Logic fans that are listening in at this very moment right now. But like, you know, it's very meticulous. Like, I think I've grown because I've been able to interview a lot of bands. Like, I think I've learned to appreciate the songwriting, the appreciation for like why this song's good and why I like listening to this band. You know, but what kind of fuels you guys to continue to do this? Because, like I said, you could be doing anything else with your time. So for you to spend a lot of time doing this, it's got to be important, I imagine, or I'd hope. You know.
You go, dumb boy.
Yeah, no, yep. Brandon, it's just there's literally for me personally, there's always something to look forward to, and it could be as small as cool. Ryan and I are going to talk about what this song might be called. Working song titles are the best, by the way. We've had some songs called some very obscene things for a while, and then they get real names.
What's the most
But
obscene? Do you have a very? Do you have like a? Do you have like a very PC obscene one? Nothing like crazy.
I gotta think. It's weird when they morph and they get the real name. What?
G string.
Oh, we have a
Uh,
current one that it literally was on that guitar that's in drop G, which usually we're in drop C on 6 strings, but we have one that's low, so it was just easy to call it low. It was just called low G string for a while, but it has a real name now. It grew up.
That's good.
But no, yeah, for me, just I love every part of the process musically, and it's gonna sound corny, but it's really about the journey. Like, you know, it's for Ryan and I, like we just want as many people in the world to hear our music. Like that's the biggest goal. I think every musician probably wants that. But you know, I think I like tell Ryan this all the time. Like if this is as good as it gets, like then I'm incredibly happy. But I know we have a lot left to do, a lot of songs left to write. We want to be doing this till the day we die. So yeah, for me personally, it could be literally anything coming up with song titles, a new song idea, finishing a song. Honestly, the meticulousness of editing music videos, like I've learned to like love cutting in Final Cut Pro, which some people fucking hate, but I love it. It's mindless. It's fun, but yeah, for me, it's literally about every part of the musical process, and getting to do it with one of my best friends in the world there's nothing like it. So.
My heart. I hope Ryan says some nice stuff about you.
He probably won't. Just kidding.
Yeah, no, that's a deep question there, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, great question.
A good one to be the final question.
Yep.
But yeah, kind of. I mean, going off of kind of what John said, you know, it's every part of it. You know, there's no really like stressful part of it, and you know, for me, I have a very busy life. You know, wife, kids, you know, all that kind of stuff. Very, very busy, but there's never really a moment where I'm like, man, you know, if I just wasn't playing music, my life would be easier. I don't think about it that way. I think about it in the sense of like, no, I have to do this. Otherwise I'm going to go crazy. It's still, for me, it's still like, I mean, I feel like I'm still back in high school dreaming of being on a stage, playing the songs that I wrote and people reacting to it, you know? So, I mean, it's, the thing that keeps me going, I think, obviously, you know, working with John is, you know, it's awesome because it's so fun, and I think you used a great word earlier. It's cohesive. I mean, it's natural essentially, and it's just as natural as that hunger to write songs and to do music. So I think it comes from that natural side of everything. There's a hunger there, and yeah, we're two very, very hungry people.
Well, I hope you eat well. So, you know, that's
Chicken sausage.
Yeah. All right. That wasn't a point. That wasn't a comment on making the chicken sausage into. I would hope,
Sorry, keep going,
guys,
sorry.
man. Well, you might as well just give a shout out to whoever makes the chicken sausage. You should just get a sponsorship at this point. You name dropped them a handful of times at this point. They probably should be paying you for this chicken sausage at this point.
Hashtag Tyson. No.
No.
You'd be the
It's
first
ATV
metal
brand, isn't
band to
it?
be sponsored by a sausage brand, I think. It would be like, it would show up
Tyson
on like
Foods
Lamb
Western
Goat
Clothing.
or something and be like, Texas duo gets sponsored by Tyson sausage brand, you know, like shit would
Oh
be all
man.
over the place.
I welcome it. I welcome it.
Okay, well, I'm glad I can be on the ground level for this, but the the first the first ever metal sausage sponsorship. Oh man, guys, if you guys use Lift the Curse 10 in checkout, you can get 10% off your next chicken sausage person. Oh, I can't do it. I can't do it with a straight face, but
Everybody wins.
I appreciate your guys' dedication to what you do because I think, if anything, this interview had kind of taught me the level of the level of things that you do your process in. You know, like I always find that I love being able to check the music out beforehand and enjoying it and really kind of getting into it. But I think when I get to talk with the bands and figure out like, oh yeah, like this is what we go through. These are the lengths that we go through into making it like that. Not to use the sausage metaphor again, but it's like, it's like you get to see how the sausage is made, and so, hashtag, Tyson. Okay, whatever. I'm gonna kill that bit. But anyway, so it really is truly like. It really is truly like kind of seeing into the looking glass and being able to show like, how much attention to detail you guys go into, not only from the songwriting perspective, but like trying to like social media. I checked out like your Instagram and the Facebook and stuff and just trying to see like what you guys are doing. And I think that to me, it's like, I like seeing how hungry that I am in doing this and how much I love doing it. And I love seeing other bands that really just care about doing this and want to be able to just like continue doing it. Like no matter if like 2 people are listening to their music or 200 people are listening to their music or 2,000 people are listening to your music, they're still going to put in that same sort of effort and due diligence into their music. And so, anytime I have that, like that resonates a lot with me. And if anything, like it makes me want to help your band grow that much more because I know the dedication and the level it takes to do something for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think that I find a lot of camaraderie in the bands that I have on that have been doing it for a long time. So kudos to you guys for, continue to do it and continue to chip at it. So, love seeing that. But the most important thing, guys, I'm going to leave the floor to you. Tell them where they can find Lift the Curse at, what you guys have coming up in the next couple months. Interview is going out June the 5th. So anything beyond that
Awesome.
point, let us know what's going on in your guys' lives.
Ooh, that's good timing. Second album comes out June 30th. As of now, we'll have another single, and our next single will have just come out May 26th. And yeah, you can find us Lift the Curse music, literally everywhere, all streaming platforms, YouTube, everything. And yeah, we're hoping to play a show near you in the near future. Right, what do you got?
What John said.
And Brandon, thank you very much too, man. This is super fun, and you're awesome. Yeah, much appreciated.
Thank you. They paid me a lot of money to say that, so I appreciate them for filling my. Somebody's gonna be like, "How dare you, man? You filled your bank account full of money. That's terrible." No, I did not get paid to do this or say any of those nice things about the band. That was from the goodness of my heart. So you know what else is from the goodness of my heart? Checking out Live the Curse because they're awesome. They rock. And if they don't melt your face off, then, I don't know what type of warranty plan they have, but maybe you can kind of like, DM them and figure that out. But, some of my results may vary, so there might be a return policy. I don't know. But I love what they're doing. I really have gone through the gamut of listening to all of their music at the current time. So very excited to do a reaction video for their new song. So check that out. That'll also be linked in the description. Go watch it. I'll definitely remember to do it because I'm going to put it in my calendar and remember to react to it. So go check it out. And definitely huge shout outs to James Carey the Fourth. Love him so much. Big salutes. But please go check out Lift the Curse. Go give him a subscribe on YouTube. I already did that. So if I did it, I need you to do it too. So go do that. Go follow him on Spotify. Gonna go do that in a second. And if you enjoyed this interview, share, like, and subscribe. It would really mean a lot, and hopefully you liked the interview. And huge shout outs to Lift the Curse for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.